to find all angles between 0 and 2 pi, satisfy the following equation. So 0 to pi is basically one rotation. So basically we are divided by quadrant, first, second, third and fourth quadrant. So here we know that first quadrant, and you have to know which function is positive. So this one is STC, or what formula you can remember. So here only sine is positive, this one only tangent is positive, and fourth quadrant only cos is positive. And we know, and in the first quadrant, so we have sine 2x plus pi over 6 is equal to negative sec 3 over 2. So you see here, this one is sine, this one, and you see this one is negative. So we see the negative one first. Sine negative is at what quadrant? So we see sine is positive at first and second. So this one, sine negative, so the quadrant is quadrant 3 and 4. Alright, that's first thing. So we see here, this one is we can get the reference angle. So reference angle is equal to sine inverse this one, which is sec 3 over 2. We don't take the negative because negative represent the quadrant, and this is the reference angle. So okay, you see here, if you are using radian mode, so you see here this one is 0 to pi, right? So if you are using radian mode, when you key in sine inverse sec 3 over 2, you are going to get pi over 3. This is if you are using radian mode. But if you are using normal mode, when you put sine negative 1 sec 3 over 2, you are going to get 60 degree, right? So how to convert degree to radian? So you learned it before, right? So to convert it to radian, what you need to do is multiply with pi over 180. So this one, then you will get pi over 3. This one is normal mode. But if you are using radian mode, you will directly get pi over 3. So you see here, it's given that x. So you see here, it's given that x is in between 0 and 2 pi, right? So between 0 and 2 pi. So x, so here 2x plus pi over 6. So this one is what happened? 0 times 2 is 0 plus pi over 6. This one is pi over 6. And this one here is 2 pi times 2. You see here 2x. So 2 pi times 2 is 4 pi. 4 pi plus this one is 4 pi plus pi over 6. So we know that the first one is up to pi over 2, this one is up to pi, this one is up to 3 pi over 2, and this one is up to 2 pi. So this one is the reference angle. So we know it is at the third and fourth quadrant. So here 2x plus pi over 6 is equal to, so at the third quadrant, so how to get it? So this one is the third quadrant. So the same formula like before, we have to add with pi. So the angle is pi over 3, this one is pi over 3 plus pi, third quadrant, right? And then the fourth quadrant, it is, okay, before 360 minus theta, right? So this one is also 2 pi minus pi over 3. So this one is up to 2 pi. But then you see here, you have to stop until you see 4 pi plus pi over 6. So you have to see another third quadrant. So this one is basically, so pi over 3 plus pi, this one is basically 3 over 3, right? You get 4 pi over 3. And this one, 2 times 3 is 6 pi minus pi, you get 5 pi over 3, right? So basically you are doing another circle at the third quadrant. So you are going to add this one, 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi. And then this one, for the fourth quadrant, it is this one, 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi. So here you get 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10 pi over 3. And here 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 5 is 11 pi over 3. So you see here, this one is 2x plus pi over 6. Now we wanted to have x, right? So we find 2x first. So to find 2x, we minus everything with pi over 6. So this one is 4 pi over 3 minus pi over 6, or you can just use your calculator. 4 over 3 minus 1 over 6. So you're going to get 7 pi over 6. So this one 5 pi over 3 minus pi over 6. You are going to get 3 pi over 2. And then this one 10 pi over 3 minus pi over 6, or using calculator 10 over 3 minus 1 over 6. You are going to get 19 over 6, right? Which is 19 over 6 pi. And this one is 11 over 3 minus 1 over 6. You are going to get 7 pi over 2. So 11 over 3 minus 1 over 6, you get 7 over 2, right? So just add the pi. So now you have 2x, but now we wanted to have x. So x is equal, you divide everything with 2. 7 over 6 divided by 2, you get 7 over 12 pi. Sorry, here. So here 3 over 2 divided by 2, you get 3 pi over 4. And then this one divided by 2, you get 19 pi over 12. And 7 over 2 divided by 2, you get 7 over 4 pi. So you have 4 angles, and this is the answer. So B, 3 sine y is equal to 2 tangent y. So we know that tangent is equal to sine y over cos y, and this one is 3 sine y, right? So we bring it at one side. So 3 sine y cos y is equal to 2 sine y. So we bring it at one side. 3 sine y cos y minus 2 sine y is equal to 0. So we can factorize sine out. So sine y, so 3 cos y minus 2 is equal to 0. So we see here we get sine y is equal to 0. So we know the graph here. So 0, 180 and 360. 0, 180 and 360. You see here when sine y is 0, at the graph the 0 is 0, 180 and 360. Okay, this one. So here we have 3 cos y minus 2 is equal to 0. So 3 cos y is equal to 2. Cos y is equal to 2 over 3. Okay, so we see here our cos is positive. So cos is positive. You see here cos is positive in the first and fourth quadrant. So quadrant first and Q4. Okay, so now we can find what is. So here use reference angle. So here alpha is equal to cos inverse 2 over 3. So cos inverse 2 over 3, which is equal to, when you use in radian mode, you are going to get 0.841. Okay, so this one we want in terms of pi 1, 1. Okay, so you want it in pi, so you have to multiply with pi because you want to see pi. At the same time, this one you need to divide with pi. So this one divide with this one, you are going to get 0.2677 pi. And there is another way if you are using the normal mode also. So here when you are using normal mode, you are getting 48.19 degree, right? So also same, you have to multiply with pi over 180 and you will get 0.2677 pi. So here, as long as you get it in pi, then it is okay. So yeah, but we are not done yet. This is only alpha. Okay, just now our y here. So our y here is equal to 0, 180 and 360. Okay, now we are calculating this one, 0.2677 pi. So you see here alpha is equal to 0.2677 pi. So now we are talking about y, right? So y, this one is the same because 0 up to, the angle is 0 up to 2 pi. So you just do it up to 2 pi. And we see here we have 0.2077. Okay, before that, we know it is first and fourth quadrant. So this one, when we're talking about y, so the first quadrant is this one. 0.2677 is definitely less than half. So this one is the first quadrant. And then we see here fourth quadrant. So fourth quadrant means 2 pi minus 0.2677 pi. So here we are going to get 0.2677 pi. And this one we are going to get 1.732 pi. So here we have 2 value of y, and here we have 3 value. Okay, sorry, this one 0, pi and 2 pi since we are using radian. So this one y is equal to, so 0 is the first one, and then this one is 0.2677 pi, alright, and then we have pi, and then 1.732 pi, and then 2 pi. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. So C 3 cotangent square Z minus 5 cosecant Z plus 1 is equal to 0. So we see here we have cotangent square and we have cosecant, right? This one we can change to cosecant square because we know that cotangent square theta plus 1 is equal to cosecant square theta. So cotangent square theta is equal to cosecant square theta minus 1. I just write it. Is equal to cosecant square theta minus 1. So this one is 3 cosecant square theta, but this one we have z, right? So it's supposed to be z minus 1 and then minus 5 cosecant z plus 1 is equal to 0. So when we expand 3 times cosecant z, we get 3 cosecant square z minus 3. You see here this one and this one, minus 5 cosecant z plus 1 is equal to 0. So here we get 3 cosecant square z. So here minus 5 cosecant z. Negative 3 plus 1, we get negative 2 is equal to 0. So you see here this one is equal to form 3x squared minus 5x minus 2, right? So do you still remember this quadratic equation? So you can factorize by using your calculator. You can just press EQN and you are supposed to get so when you use your calculator, you get cosecant, because this one is the unknown, cosecant z is equal to 2, and then cosecant z is equal to negative 1 over 3, right? So to put it inside here, so 2 means this one is cosecant z minus 2, and this one you see here over 3, so this one is 3 cosecant z, this one is minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so you have this one, but then to find the angle we need to be in cosine or tangent, right? So we know cosecant is equal to sine. So here cosecant z is equal to 2, right? Which means sine z is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, because it is this one, because 1 over sine, cosecant is equal to 1 over sine is equal to 2, right? So this one is also the same. Okay, just show it. So this one, cosecant z is equal to 1 over sine z, which is equal to, this one is negative 1 over 3. So you can see that sine z is equal to negative 3. So here you get this one and this one, but we know that the value of sine, this one is supposed to be smaller than 1. So this one is not accepted, only this one. So here sin z is equal to half. So we see this one is positive. So for sin to be positive, it's supposed to be at the first. This one is all. So I made the new one. So this one this one is A. First and second quadrant. This one is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So positive first and second quadrant. So Q1 and Q2. Alright, so now we use reference angle. So alpha is equal to sine inverse 1/2. So using your calculator, so here I get 30 degrees. So using radian time pi over 180. So here we get, which is equal to pi over 6 radian. So here our z is equal to, so first and second quadrant, first quadrant it is pi over 6 radian, right? And then here the second quadrant, so here the second quadrant it is pi minus reference angle. So here we get pi over 6 radian, and pi minus pi over 6, or we can say 1 minus 1 over 6, we get 5 pi over 6 radian. So D sin 2a minus cos 2a is equal to 0. So here we see that sin 2a is equal to cos 2a, where sin 2a divided by cos 2a is equal to 1, because we know that this one is 1, right? So when we bring cos, we are left with 1. So this one is tangent 2a is equal to 1. So now this is, it's using a, right? So we know that we use a reference angle. So tangent alpha is equal to 1. Alpha is equal to tangent inverse 1. So using this one, if tangent 1, you get 45 degree, right? 45 degree or pi over 180, which is equal to, so this one 180 divided by 45, 4. So here you get pi over 4. So this one is the reference angle. Okay, before that, tangent 2a is equal to 1. So this is the angle, right? And we know this one is 1. So tangent is positive, right? So tangent is positive. If you see from here, it's positive at first, this one at quadrant 1, and you see at quadrant 3. It is positive at quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So this one is 2a. Okay, you see here, this one, the angle is 2a. So the angle, find the angle between 0 and 2 pi. This one is the normal angle. So we know that a is in between 0 and 2 pi. So 2a, now we are talking about 0. So this one, 2 pi times 2, we get 4 pi. So this is the range that we need to find our 2a. So now 2a is equal to, so you see here first and third quadrant, right? So the reference angle is pi over 4. So first quadrant, it is pi over 4, right? And then we go to the third quadrant. Third quadrant, it's alpha plus pi. So alpha, our alpha is pi over 4 plus pi, right? So we are done. So up until here, we are done with 2 pi. But then we need to do until 4 pi. So we need to do the second round. Okay, before that, this one we get pi over 4. Pi over 4 plus pi, we get 5 pi over 4, right? So basically, on the second round, we just add 2 pi. So this one is pi over 4 plus 2 pi. And then this one is 5 pi over 4 plus 2 pi. So here, pi over 4 plus 2 pi, 2 times 4 is 8. This one is 9 pi over 4. And this one, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 5, 13 pi over 4. So don't forget to put this one is radian, 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 and radian. This one is 2a, but what we wanted to find is a, right? So a, we just divide everything with 2. So pi over 4 divided by 2, we get pi over 8 radian. 5 pi over 4 divided by 2, 5 over 8 pi radian. This one divided by 2, 9 over 8 pi radian. and 13 over 4 divided by 2, 13 over 8 pi radian. So this is the answer. E cos B sin B is equal to 1 over 4. So you see here, we have a formula where 2 sin A cos A is equal to sin 2A, double angle formula. So sin A cos A, but then we have 2 in front, right? So to make it this way, so that we can convert to sin 2A, we have to multiply with 2. So 2 cos B sin B is equal to sin 2B, right? But if in front we multiply, back here we have to also multiply. 1 over 4 times 2, we get 1 over 2. Right, this one is sin 2B. So we can see that this one is the angle, and this one is equal to 1 over 2. So we see here 1 over 2 is positive, right? So to see here, the sign is positive and in the first and second quadrant. So this one is Q1 and Q2. Okay, so now we use reference angle. So alpha is equal to sine inverse 1 over 2. So sine inverse 1 over 2, you get pi over 6. So we see here, this one is cosine B 2B, right? So we know that B 0 to 2 pi. So here 2B is equal to, so this one is 0 times, this one is 0 times 2, we get 0, 2 pi times 2, we get 4 pi. So this is our 2B. So we know that first and this one, right? And here is the rotation that must be made until 4 pi. So now our beta is equal to, so in the first quadrant it is pi over 6, right? And then in the second quadrant, you see second quadrant is pi minus pi over 6. Okay, now only first and second quadrant, this is, we settle the first round. So first round until 2 pi, right? Now we go another round. So here before that, this one is pi over 6. Pi minus pi over 6, we get 5 pi over 6. Why I do this? Because we know that when we are doing the second round, we just add with 2 pi. So this one is pi over 6 plus 2 pi. And this one is 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi. So here 2 times 6 12, 12 plus 1 is 13 pi over 6. So this one 2 times 6 is 12, 12 plus 5 is 17 pi over 6. Okay, this one is 2b, but we wanted it to be b, so we have to divide everything with 2. So divide with 2, we get pi over 12 radian. Divide with 2, we get 5 over 12 pi radian. Divide by 2, we get 13 over 6 pi radian. And here divide by 2, we get 17 over 12 pi radian. So F for sine x minus F for sine x minus pi cos x minus pi is equal to 1. So you can see that this one is almost similar with with E, because we have cos and sine, which is similar here. So we know that sine 2a is equal to 2 cos a sine a, or 2 sine a cos a, which is same, right? So we see this one is the same. This one is 2 only, right? We want only 2. So 2 sine x minus pi cos x minus pi is equal to, so here this side we divide with 2, right? This one we divide with 2. This side also divide with 2. We get 1 over 2. So when we have this form, so 2 sine, so you see 2 sine x, 2 sine a cos a. So here we get 2 sine x cos x is equal to sine 2a x minus pi is equal to, so this one is equal to 1 over 2, right? So this one is the angle. So we use reference angle. If this one is equal to this one, so alpha is equal to sine inverse 1 over 2. So here we are supposed to get pi over 6. So you see here, this one is a sine. This angle is positive value. So we see that sine is positive in the first quadrant and second quadrant, right? So first and second quadrant. And you see here, this is the range. So we know that when we are talking about x, it's between 0 and 2 pi. So now we are talking about 2x minus pi, which is 0. So we see here, x minus pi. So 0 is x, right? So 0 minus pi, you get negative pi, right? So negative pi times 2, you get negative 2 pi. Okay, so this one 2 pi. So 2 pi is x. So 2 pi minus pi, you get pi. Pi times 2, you get 2 pi. So here we need to do from the angle, we need to find the angle from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. So here we can see that it is 2 round, right? So here 2x. So 2x minus pi is actually 2x minus 2 pi, which is actually, so this is our reference angle. So this one is pi over 6. So this one is pi over 6. So this one, the first quadrant and second quadrant is pi minus pi over 6. Okay, and then the second rotation, it is first quadrant, it would be pi over 6 plus 2 pi. So this one is pi over 6. Pi minus pi over 6, we get 5 pi over 6. So this one, pi over 6 plus 2 pi, this one 2 times 6, 12 plus 12 plus 1, 13 pi over 6. And this one, we get 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi. So 2 times 6 is 12 plus 5, 17 pi over 6. So now we wanted to find 2x, right? So 2x is equal to, so now we move 2 pi. So everything is need to add by 2 pi. So 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi, we get 13 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi, we get 17 pi over 6. 13 pi over 6 plus 2 pi, we get 25 pi over 6. And then here 17 pi over 6 plus 2 pi, we get 29 pi over 6. So our x is equal to this one divided by 2, because this one 2x, right? We want only x. So divide by 2, we get 13 over 12 pi. So this one 17 over 6 divided by 2, 17 over 12 pi. And this one 25 over 12 pi. And this one is 29 pi over 12. This one is radian, 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 and radian. Alright.